Shazia Almi, member of the Aam Aadmi Party, is with me in the studio. Nirmala Sitharaman is national spokesperson of the BJP. Thank you very much, Nirmala and Shazia. Brinda Grover is well-known human rights activist and lawyer. We are also joined by Ravi Sachdeva, Newshour viewer. He's a chartered accountant. He's joining us from Delhi. Thank you very much, Ravi. Brinda Grover, I don't know if you saw the details of that news report. My question is, it was a case, we've been talking about it, where a policeman has raped a gang rape victim in the pretext of recording her statement. Tell me, Ms. Grover, would Akhilesh Yadav and the system in Uttar Pradesh have been as blind, deaf and dumb had this been a politician's daughter who went through this trauma?
I don't think it helps to say Akhilesh Yadav or anybody else. I think rape and sexual assault both are happening routinely. We saw this happen in Punjab by an Akali leader. We need to stop focusing on these individuals. They are irrelevant. They are not committed to the cause of stopping, preventing or punishing for violence against women. I want to draw attention to two things. I've been watching a little bit of your program for a while. The death penalty is not the answer for preventing or punishment for rape. The women's movement in this country has never demanded death penalty. The politicians who are today saying death penalty, the media journalists who are today saying death penalty are looking for a shortcut. This will not solve the problem of violence against women. Let me remind you of two instances. Sanjay and Geeta Chopra rape and murder case.
Which I would like to reiterate at this stage is simply this. That today, we have a member of the Aam Aadmi party in our studio. And Shazia, my point is that you can go ahead and...
Women are not a political constituency. No political party cares about violence against women.
At all, Brinda Grover. But we must not be queasy and defensive and afraid of talking directly about politicians. And I can tell you, Brinda Grover, had this happened...
Why should I be defensive? I'm sorry. No, none of us are defensive. Akhilesh Yadav, Sheila Dikshit, the Akali party, every single political party is to be blamed. I have nothing. Why should I be queasy about naming them at all? But it becomes pointless.
Well,
the issue is much larger. If it was Mayawati, would it change? If it's Mamta, would it change?
I presume that the Chief Minister has law and order in his hands. And that's why I will continue to raise the issue. In fact, I want Akhilesh Yadav and Sheila Dikshit to stop running away from the cameras and face the cameras for a change. Shazia, would this have happened to a politician's daughter? Would there have been the kind of mute reaction we've seen from the UP government?
Well, first of all, this would not have happened to a politician's daughter because she would not need, for lack of better public transport, a private chartered bus or something. So the odds are so many, you see. There is no level playing field here in the quality of life that you live, in the kind of vulnerability you feel day after day as a woman, just as an ordinary woman, as compared to a woman who comes from a certain privileged background.
Truly.
So there's a clear distinction. And I don't think we should politicize the issue at all, whether you look at Mamata Banerjee or you look at the rape victim compensation in UP. When Rita Bahuguna actually asked Mayawati that if you were to get raped, would you be happy with a 1 crore or 1 lakh compensation? So the kind of public, so it doesn't help to have a woman as a chief minister really. So a gender sensitive person is more important here to be heading, to be at the helm of affairs than a woman, because that's tokenism again. So I don't think it's less about gender, but just about us as a society, that we're becoming such a sociopathic society. That miscreants are lurking around and there is no fear whatsoever.
Society does not become sociopathic unless the people who are ruling the society encourage the sociopaths.
There is no iota of fear whatsoever.
Obviously there must be some patronage.
Yes, because lawmakers and law enforcers are breaking the law, as in this case.
So there must be patronage from powerful sections.
Absolutely, there is political patronage.
There is a limited, that is the limited point. I mean, let's be clear here today.
Yes.
No, let's be...
Of course there is. Therefore, we need to create...
Brinda, let's be very clear about it. Who protects the Khap Panchayats? Who doesn't say a word against Khap Panchayats?
The politicians do. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
It's the politicians.
Absolutely.
They say nothing.
They do not stand by the
Constitution.
The politicians do not stand by the Constitution.
I'm not politicizing it. I'm just calling a spade a spade. That an incident has happened in Bareilly.
You're absolutely right.
An incident has happened in Bareilly,
if a politician
in Uttar Pradesh, where a man has beheaded his 17-year-old daughter for having a relationship with a boy from the same village. Right? Now I am asking.
Yes, yes,
My
because in
question
this
is-
country...
My question
yes,
is,
I can,
today, does Akhilesh Yadav or the political parties have the courage to take these people on? Or
Well, there are-
or they'll say,
there
let's
are-
not
there
get
are
into
two.
people's personal issues, their personal disputes. Nirmala Sitharaman has the political class failed the people of India, especially the women.
I'm not sure I'll treat the entire political class as having failed the people. There are some elements in politics also. You will find some politicians not really facing the issue. But that doesn't mean everybody in politics. Today you saw in the parliament, you might say, oh, that's just tokenism. It is not. A genuine sense of outrage was seen in the parliament.
What came out of it?
No, obviously it can't come out within a day. We'll have to keep this momentum up, in the sense, the heat up. I don't want to say the word.
By every political party?
Sorry?
3 minute speech by every political party?
No, that doesn't determine. You can't have a day-long speech by one party. Obviously, that's part of the House management. I won't go into that. But the fact remains that the outrage, sense of outrage which was felt, was also felt by the politicians, and you saw them. So I don't want to use one brush to say all of them are equally bad. But this is an issue on which all of us will have to work, will have to respond, and make sure that there is a complete cleansing done, because it is not just one death penalty, it is not just one criminal justice system, it is not just one speedy trial or a fast track court. It has got to be everything all put together with a greater sense of
I agree with you, but Sonia Gandhi has met the Home Minister. I think Sonia Gandhi should also tell the Haryana Chief Minister that it is shameful that an MLA who thrashes a family travelling in a car because they don't give the right of way are thrashed by your bodyguards. My question was in the sense of political arrogance. There's a lack of accountability. That's I'm not blaming individual parties. I'm just saying it's an overall problem.
That sense of not being accountable has to be removed from the minds of everybody.
I want to get in at this stage Mr. Ravi Sachdeva, who's a Newshour viewer, and he's a chartered accountant from Delhi. And I thank you very much, Mr. Sachdeva, for joining the debate. My question tonight is, have India's politicians lost all empathy for the people? Do you have a specific point to make, and do you have a question to any of our panelists? Mr. Sachdeva.
Arnab, this is a sad day, and one doesn't feel like using terms like compliment or something, but I definitely appreciate efforts of your channel and other media channels which are raking up this issue. And I think looking at our experience in the last few years, the only way pressure can be built on politicians is by media. And media represents society because social voices are otherwise not heard. Now, I'll just request that this effort continues, and these debates need to be converted into some kind of action. And the action has to be by way of stringent penalty to be formulated by Parliament. And we had recent example where public pressure and media pressure forced a one-day special session of Parliament. I think that kind of effort needs to go into this issue, because this issue is far more important and critical for families and fathers and brothers than corruption in society. Yes, corruption is also an issue, but this issue needs to take precedence on that. And this Aam Aadmi Party or anybody else, I'll support only those people who can take care of our daughters and our sisters before I think about corruption, which also bothers me separately. And this needs to be addressed, and I suggest media is definitely going to play a critical role in this. Only thing is, it should not stop with debates, and it should be forced on Parliament.
I thank you, Mr. Ravi Sachdeva. I value your participation tonight. Thank you for what you're saying, for what the media is doing. The media can do what it does. It needs to be amplified.